The M433 is the first assault rifle you unlock by default in Battlefield 6, and it's also one of the best assault rifles in the game. This is how you can make this thing into an absolute close to long range machine, killing absolutely anything in your path. Stick around and we're going to go right into the class setup for this. Get some popcorn and let's get straight into it, guys. So first of all, guys, we're going to go over the sight. The sight that I'm using is the Baker 3x sight. Obviously for sights, you can swap them out. They're not the biggest problem in the world, but I like this sight because it has a very clear picture with a small red dot in the middle of it. And I like the 3x magnification on this, as we're also going to be using a piggyback mini reflex sight on top of it, which we will get into next. But this one is something that you can swap out for your own personal taste depending on what you like. Just make sure it has a little bit of zoom, as that's what allows this gun to dominate at all ranges. So next up, as I said, we are using the piggyback reflex sight. This one goes on top of your other sight, and by clicking on, well, L3 for me at least, you can swap to your other sight on the fly, just like that. You'll see it happen a few times in the clip above, guys. It is really helpful for just when you're swapping into a close range encounter. So you can go from being outside shooting people about 20 meters away and then running indoors, swap to this sight, and you're still going to have a really fun time like that. Another good thing about having a smaller reflex sight on top is that you can swap to it if you're finding the recoil on this to be a bit bad, as the more magnification you have, the more visual recoil you see in this game. So if you're using a mini reflex sight, all of a sudden, as you'll see, it looks as though there's a lot less recoil, but that is just a visual thing due to it not being as zoomed in. As for the muzzle, I'm going to be using the long suppressor. You could go ahead and use the soft suppressor if you wanted to swap out something for 5 of your weapon parts, but for the setup that I have, I'm maxed out at 100. I'm happy with the long suppressor. I don't need any of the benefits of the other one that costs 30. This one costs 25. It fully hides your spot on the radar while firing, and it reduces recoil at the cost of hipfire accuracy and weapon sway, which is alright. As you can see in the video, it's not really causing me any problems at long ranges anyway. So definitely chuck on a suppressor, guys. I recommend suppressors for this game as they're going to keep you off the radar. As for the barrel, we're going to be using the extended barrel. The 18.9 inch prototype is what it's called. But yeah, this is the extended barrel for the M433, and it's just going to give us a bit more range, projectile velocity, and it enables a faster transition to the aim down sight. So that helps as well, guys. Overall, this is just going to help us for killing enemies at slightly longer ranges, and that's really what's going to help this gun dominate at all ranges once again, like I was saying. And that's what you're going to want in this game, unless you're just playing in those close quarters maps, which not a lot of people are. You're playing this for conquest, you're playing this for the big maps, you know what I mean? So this is definitely a must need for this weapon. As for the underbarrel, I'm going to be using the canted stubby. This one moderately reduces recoil and enables a slightly faster aim down sight speed. And this is at the cost of an ADS accuracy while moving. So it's not while you're standing still or anything like that. It's only while moving. And for the most part, it really doesn't change all that much. It still is going to reduce your recoil while also making you a bit more speedier around the battlefield at aiming down sights. So this is my favorite underbarrel for this weapon. This one doesn't have many great underbarrels, so this is the best one I've been able to find. You can try out some of the other ones if you want, but this is the one that I reckon you should go with. As for the magazine, I'm just sticking with the base magazine, 30 round mag, nothing special, just keeping the same with that one, as I'm pretty fine with dealing with a 30 round mag for the most part. If you want to swap something out and put in a larger magazine, go for it, but I don't think it's necessary for this one. Finally, just got the ammunition. I did swap from standard to penetration. All this does is it trades a bit of recoil for improved penetration, which is going to result in being able to damage more enemies at once. Say if they're standing right next to each other, right in front of each other, you're going to be able to hit both of them at the same time with a few of your bullets. So that's basically all that's going to do, and it's just trading off a slight bit of recoil. So if you want to swap that back to standard, if you're having trouble with the recoil pattern of this weapon, you can also do that, but it's really not that necessary. All right, overall. but that is what I am rocking on this one. And as you can see from the gameplay, this gun absolutely shreds, especially for a default weapon. You're just going to have to level it up a bit to get to this point, guys. Some tips for leveling: if you really just want to level this gun up and you don't really care about what you're playing and whatnot, the quickest way to level your guns up that I found is to go into those close quarters matches where you're basically playing a game of Call of Duty and just getting kills with your weapon. Because you're going to be able to rack up quite a few kills, a lot, like probably the same amount that you'd rack up in a 40-minute match. You can rack up in about 10 minutes in those game modes. They're just a little bit more boring and it's just basically playing Call of Duty. So I didn't do that too much, but if I wanted to get a few levels quickly, that was a good way to do it. The only other tip and trick I have for this weapon is that when you're shooting at longer ranges, don't just hold the trigger down. Give it a little bit of a tap shoot, you know what I mean? So just tap your trigger to shoot the weapon, and that's going to allow you to kill them at those longer ranges really effectively. Alright, so as I'm doing my outro, I'm just going to show you a quick setting which actually takes away a lot of visual recoil. So if you stuck around to the end of the video, you're in for a treat. Definitely turn all these down to 0, 0, and 50 as seen here, and it's going to reduce your visual recoil on your guns quite a bit. So thank you for watching, guys. Catch you on the next one. Stitch out.